Good day, everyone. I hope you're doing well. We are going to talk about the joy of movement when it feels like it's far away. And so I'm your host, Tracy Brown. I'm a somatic dietitian and a tune eating expert. And this video really isn't about joyful movement per se, even though we certainly could talk about that today. That might come up. If you have questions about that, we can address them here today. We can address them on Friday as well. I do want to say, and the reason I titled this video the way I did is because it doesn't always feel joyful to move, and that's for all kinds of reasons. So let's get those out of the way first. If we have a chronic, illness, or basically maybe it's a surgery that's just not quite healing, or we've got this nagging injury, and I think if you've lived any amount of life, you probably have those. I mean, I know I do. I've got some shoulder stuff. An elbow thing, so luckily it doesn't keep me from doing too much of what I want to do, but there are a few things it's like, well, ouch, that hurt, and that's annoying, but again, it's annoying. It doesn't really prevent me from doing too much. So that being said, we're not all in that same position where if we wanted to go for a hike that we just go. That's not always the case. So whether it's from fibromyalgia or you had a joint replacement, and even though you got it done, it's just not feeling quite the same. You've done a lot of work on it, it's still not quite the same. Or something else, chronic pain doesn't always feel joyful. Your lack of joy with moving a body might just come from, I'm still really struggling with just embodiment in general and having a body and being more in it and feeling more stuff. And when I move more, it reminds me of that, so that doesn't always feel good as well. And so we must acknowledge all those things and bring some compassion. Otherwise, we kind of get stuck in these loops of feeling stuck and hopeless. It doesn't have to be that way, because today I want to talk about what do we do about that. So whatever the reason is that we're not quite at joyful movement, and this could also be just, I think my body can do stuff. I just, don't know what to do. Everything reminds me of diet culture. I'm not sure what I like yet, or when I get to doing something I do like, I'm not quite at the place yet where it doesn't feel as compulsive. So it's like I still kind of take it easy. It's all really normal phases of this process we go through. I want to talk about how we can have a little bit more peace or comfort or joy when things don't feel good, or not quite at the place where we can do things as freely as we like. So I want to talk about a couple simple things that I've been playing with personally, and that I know I've recommended to some of you, maybe watching this now, watching it later. So for example, today I want you to pay attention. If you're seated, I want you to pay attention to what you're seated on. And does it feel like it's okay? Meaning, if you're sitting in a chair with arms in it, and if you're not feeling comfortable with that, I want you to immediately adjust the chair, adjust how you're sitting in the chair, or be in a different chair, essentially. I want you to really allow yourself, just in your day-to-day life, whether it's in your car and maybe you need more neck support, if you're seated in a office chair, you're noticing as you're sitting in it right now, and you're like, this thing's too high, it's too low, something's poking me in the wrong place in the back. I feel like I'm like Goldilocks sitting in Papa Bear's chair, and not only can my feet not reach, but like my back's not reaching, so everything is hitting wrong. And I discovered that 2 weeks ago. I was sitting in my office chair doing my work and my sessions, and I've been pretty aware that like this chair doesn't quite fit me right. When you're really short, unless things can scooch forward, you kind of feel like you're floating a little bit, and doesn't nearly feel good, and you're doing a lot of upward kind of bracing. And it doesn't feel good. I have to put a lot of energy into like just sitting in my chair. More energy than I should. I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? So I got this big, pillow that I don't use. I kind of use it for the guest room, or bedroom pillows, whatever. Had a pillowcase on it and put it on my back. It was big and hard and fluffy, or big and firm, I guess, but fluffy. And it is just right. It was so helpful just to have something supporting my whole back that had enough push to it to where I could push back, and the exercises I do with clients to get grounded. And feel more supported and contained, and it was really good. So I want to encourage you to be doing things like that. So if you look at your dining room table that you sit in, hopefully breakfast and lunch, let's say, at least some days or most days, and does the seat feel right, or is it too hard, or do the arms feel like they're too not right? Then can we adjust those? I want you to start looking at your daily environment and how it's working for you, because again, we might not have access to the movement we'd like right now, but at least we can give ourselves some physical and your body can say thank you. Other things I might suggest are, if you are not using heated water bottles, socks with rice in them heated up, or I have little miniature heating pad I just throw in the microwave. If you're not using those things already, and I've been suggesting those to maybe many of us for a long time, if you're not using those things on a daily basis, you need to be doing that, because it will bring a sense of like something outside of you is here for you. But it's also soothing to necks and kidneys, adrenals, bellies, other places that might be a little bit tense or sore or feeling unsupported. Those are important things we can do for ourselves as well. So those are just 2 things I've suggested today. There's so many others I think that I could suggest, but I want to make a big long video about that at some point. But it's really important. So if you're noticing your shoes are the wrong size or not the right width, or I once worked with a client that was wearing a too small size shoes. They didn't know it, but their feet were always hurting, their shins were always hurting, and it dawned on me to suggest, those shoes okay? And lo and behold, no, they weren't okay. So things like that. They're maybe. I know my feet are a little bit wider now that I had a kiddo, so it's like, wear a different size shoe and it's nicer. Socks. Do you need thicker socks and shoes? Start really thinking about, of course, underwear and sports bras and bras. Are they digging in? Are they not the right kind of support? All these kind of things can bring a level of just being with your body, moving your body, doing things on this planet right now can be just a little bit nicer. If we were just able to say, you know what, it's okay that I take a little bit more time, a little extra care. I think these things go a long way to feeling more comfortable in our own skins, appreciative of our bodies for whatever they can do. And even if that's just like, wow, I don't have to digest this food. Wow, I don't have to keep a timer if my body's producing urine correctly for me or not. Wow, I don't have to do the oxygen, CO2 production. All those things. So maybe we're not at joyful movement yet. Maybe we're not sure if we're how we're gonna access that, if that's gonna happen for us. It may. Especially if you're working with some bracing and internal tightness in your body right now, going a long way with the somatic resourcing and nervous system work is going to go a long way to reducing some of that pain. But again, that's another video, but something to be thinking about. So anyway, today was about the joy that we can access with just the simple little things that we take for granted or haven't been allowing ourselves. And I'll say one last little thing. Before I came on this video, I was thinking about how to talk about this when we're not at joyful movement, when we're not even quite at good enough movement. We're just, I don't even know quite where I'm going with this yet. Or I really want to be, but everything hurts. So this is the direction I want to go, is about just external comforts. But I was noticing that today I was warming up my coffee before this video, and I was kind of just not pacing, but moving around the kitchen, and I did a little, not a spin, but I just kind of noticed that it's like, oh, our bodies do want to move. And I haven't done much movement. I've been up for a long time, but kind of been just going at real slow pace, getting some paperwork done, just getting some stuff done. I've been procrastinating and sitting for a while. It's still early in the morning, but I've been doing some work for about an hour and a half or so. I'm like, oh, yeah, our bodies do want to move. I know sometimes pain and sometimes our beliefs about what we should or shouldn't be doing get in the way. But once we can kind of bring some relief to the pain in even small ways, I think you'll start to notice that even little fits and spurts of movement, when we get more in our bodies, they're available to us. They are there. And if you just start to notice when your body wants to do a little wiggle, do a little spin, move your feet. I'm moving my ankles on top of each other because I'm like, oh, that's not working for me anymore. And inherently, I think our bodies do want to move. And so if you can allow that, those little toe taps, little ankle rotations, little things you can notice your body does want to do. Even a yawn. It's like, that's inherently there for us if we can give it credit and build upon that. So I hope this video was helpful, and I hope it gives you just a little bit of like, I'm going to really notice my body today in the little ways that it does give me signals it wants to move. And it's inherent. It's not because diet culture says I should do these things. It's like, this is inherent in us. So watch those little things, and I think that those are little breadcrumbs, and I hope it gives you some hope today. So thank you all so much for watching. Please make sure you come live for Friday Q&A. We're going to talk about all things joy, whether it's eating, cooking, being appreciative for the things we don't have to do anything about. We can also talk about joyful movement. And I would love to hear y'all's journey about that. So please come live, same time, same place, 8:15ish Eastern. And I want to hear about your journeys. It's really important that we share, like, gosh, what has worked? And I would especially love to hear from you all that, like, I never thought I would get here. I never thought I would be able to, like, do these certain things without it having such a body manipulation agenda. It feels really good. And I'll share a couple little stories for you as well, because I had a really hard, long journey with movement especially, and I'll share little tidbits about that. So thank you all so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Take care.